Alright, guys, so here is the spoiler section, and oh my god, do I have so much to talk about.
Indeed.
So, I mean, some people may argue I shouldn't be comparing it with the old one in terms of a review. I should just do it as a standalone. But I can't do that. Like, I mean, I can objectively score it, as a standalone film,
Sure.
but so much of it has to be compared. So, I mean, like, here's the thing I could not stand about the new movie compared with the old one is all the fucking gotcha moments.
Indeed.
Like,
I got you better.
Like in the truck where the girl dies. Like in the original one, it's the little boy who dies.
Yeah.
It's the little boy who dies.
Mm-hmm.
And in this one it's just like it's gonna get him, and then nope, he's pulled away at the last second, and then she dies. And it's just like what?
Seriously? Yeah, I definitely can agree with that.
And then there was one toward the end, and it's different in the new one from like the old one. Everyone dies in Judd's house pretty much. Except the dad and obviously the girl who lives. By the way, in the old one, the little girl lives. She stays with her grandparents.
Yeah.
Everyone dies in the last one. Everyone's dead. It's a fucked up ending.
Yeah, agreed.
So if you like fucked up endings to your movies, then yeah, The Pet Semetary is probably going to be your jam. For me, I don't mind them, but again, I looked at that from the original and I'm just like,
comparison, it just
I couldn't. It was too fucked up.
And there's too many scenes from the original when you take a look from there to the new one, and again, there was just more creepy scenes, more of a creepy feel when it came to the original one. That growing up, I mean, it really screwed me up when I was younger. It really creeped me the hell out when I was younger. And I mean, the little boy, he just comes off as being fun.
Yeah, like the creep factor was so strong, especially in the last one. So like in the old one, everyone died in Judd's house, the whole battle, everything.
Yeah.
The like it was the little kid who died in the first one, and in that whole scene in the house, it's just this little baby voice just calling out, let's play. As he's holding a freaking what are those things called, the surgical knife. I can't remember. But it was. And there was another gotcha moment in there, like when the neighbor like goes to look under the bed. In the new one, he kicks the bed out of the way. In the old one, no. The cat distracted him, and the
boy comes
out under the bed.
Yep. Slice.
So again, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, those ones. Yeah, the cat died in the original one. He poisons the cat, a second cat.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, like, okay, so everyone dies, but everyone lives in the new one.
Yeah.
Everyone is brought back.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this weird undead family, like, and I remember reading up on this. They said they were making a sequel, and it's just like, I hope to God not.
Yeah.
Like, that would be just too fucking really weird. A prequel, maybe I could get behind that. I don't know how they do it, but oh my God.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, and there were so many things that were played different. Like, there were some things I did like more in the new one than I did in the old one. Like, some of the practical effects, like when he's fighting with his little boy in the old one, it looked like he's like fighting a puppet in some ways, at moments.
I mean, that moment actually with the mother, and that when he was, and there, I mean, he coming out, and then of course with his father too, he kind of has a Chucky feel to him, as being a puppet kind of there, and then all of a sudden you see him again, and he just has this evil, just grumpy look on his face, and he looks a little bit more realistic, but it's just creepier and definitely a little bit more well done. I mean, in that sense, when it came to the younger boy.
Yeah, like, I think it did so much for the creepy factor, and like if in terms of emotional, touching, like surprise moments, I think the new one definitely has it because I mean the neighbor was much more relatable. He was almost like family, literally, and you know it was way different. Like you know the whole cat scene.
Yeah.
In the original, like in the new one, you know he's just like, hey, come here, let me show you something. Whereas in the old one, like the wife and the girl are and the boy, like the children, they're out of town. He's just he's by himself. Oh, and yeah, that's another thing. Uh, like this takes place in Maine in the new one. In the old one, does it even really specify where? The only real hint that I have is the neighbor. And he has a southern accent, so I don't know if it's in the South or what. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly, but yeah, and before like they were from Boston, not Chicago.
Well, I know, but they were visiting the grandparents and that, and I thought it said something about Chicago before.
No, the new one, it was all Boston.
Okay, I was talking about the old one now.
Yeah, the old one, yeah.
Is what I'm talking about. Though.
Yeah, that's the point. It took place in Chicago, or like all that. And the parents of the wife, they're never really mentioned. Like they're mentioned, but they're never really shown in the new movie. You know, whereas I wouldn't say they were prominent, but you definitely got a whole lot of more about them. Especially with the funeral and all that.
Definitely. And the whole scene, technically, with the cat, and when you compare it to the old one to the new one, it was more so, I mean, the new one, it was just the neighbor and the husband, technically, that knew about the cat and being dead. The new one, however, the wife.
Yeah, the wife knew. And it was just like, yeah, it was
just like, what are we going to do now?
Yeah, like, and they never knew. They never knew. It was never a thing. Like the new one, it was this huge thing about death. Yeah. And that's with the wife. I mean, you pretty much had her craziness flashback since they moved in with her sister.
With her sister.
And then in the new one, she died in the dumbwaiter.
Yeah.
Whereas in the old one, she kind of choked to death. Yeah. And while I will say I did like how they made the sister look in the new one, like I think they were very faithful to that.
Yeah.
I like the fact that she choked to death better, and the dumbwaiter, it seemed to be just screaming, let's do this because of jump scares. Jump scares from flashbacks.
Yeah.
So I mean, it could have been clever.
Yeah, it could have.
But honestly, I think they ill-used it as simply just a window for jump scares. So it was a little bit disappointing. And I mean, even the Indian grounds, like how different they were. Like in the first one, it looked much more authentic. Yeah. Is what I thought. I thought they did it way better in the first one than the second one. The second one, it literally reminded me of like Celtic Europe. Like I felt like I was going to a Druid camp rather than a Native American burial ground. To be honest,
definitely agree with that.
Yeah,
but it had its own little charm.
Like it did. I'm not saying it didn't have its charm. It didn't seem as authentic. It seemed more staged, like with the whole stairway, the plateau.
True. I agree.
Yeah, so, and then the whole, with the fog, and, you see this wind, supposedly this spirit Wendigo and all that, and it's just like, okay, like the Wendigo isn't even mentioned in the old one. Like it's just literally like an old burial ground that has become tainted.
Tainted, yeah.
Oh my God, the ghost. We need to talk about the ghost.
I was trying to remember the ghost.
So yeah, I like the ghost way better in the old one because, like in the new one, it's this, I'm assuming, so don't get pissed at me if I'm wrong. I'm assuming it was a Latino boy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could have been black, but I'm thinking more Latino just because of the name.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets hit by a car. That's much the same.
Yeah.
And then the doctor starts having this flashbacks, and then he starts seeing the ghost of this thing, and it's all very serious, and it's all just poked through. Whereas in the original one, like, the ghost was much more involved in the story.
He was
much more involved, and I liked how much fun he seemed to be having.
He definitely was having a lot of fun. That's for sure. I mean, you could see him smiling and just like, no, you need to go back. No, and it was especially with Rachel there.
Yeah, she's trying to get
back to her, of course, her husband, because something's not right, and it was just definitely far more entertaining with him then.
Yeah, and it was super fun. So I mean, I was not a fan of the ghost. I mean, I get that it had to be part of the story,
yeah,
but I just don't think it was as interesting as it was in the old one.
Yeah, true.
I think they could have done so much more with him.
Yeah.
But I think I'm not sure if it was just a neglected part of the story, or if they just were taking it too seriously when it came to the ghost of the kid that died.
True.
And I just wasn't a fan of it.
And
and also in the new one, you had this like ritual with kids and
yes, I know that.
Like
that in its own sense.
Now that was creepy.
That part was creepy.
I did like that part. Yes. I like that better than the original. How it was just the neighbor kind of shows him
and just you kind of get the feel of
whereas in the new one, the girl finds it on her own. The neighbor shows up and she gets stung and he helps her and becomes part of the family and all that.
Yeah.
So I will say on that the new one definitely struggled with that
part. Yeah, agreed.
Because that was legit creepy.
Yes. And every time we saw the trailer for it and we'd see parts with that part, that definitely caught my attention. And just like, okay, I'm really excited to see this. I can't actually wait to see this because it looks like it can definitely have its own creepy feeling. And I'm really interested to see what they would do.
Yeah, and so I did like the layout of the cemetery and the barrier as well. Like the barrier in the old one, it was smaller. It looked literally like you just walk over it like it was nothing. Whereas the new one, it was all about. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, well, and also when the neighbor was first taking him, and then the original one, it just seemed like it took forever because I'm like, he was constantly going, and he's just like, are we there yet? And he's like, we're almost there. We're almost there. He kept feeling like, and then finally they're there, and it's just like.
In the new one or the old one?
I'm talking about the old one first, and then going back to like the new one. It doesn't seem as much as that. It didn't feel like.
Well, that's the thing. Like in the old one, they started off in the afternoon because the family wasn't there. They didn't know about the cat at all. Even when it came back.
Yeah, exactly.
All they knew is that it smelled funny, and it was acting mean.
And it was acting mean, yeah. And it was actually more his cat than the little girls by then.
Yeah.
Because the cat wanted more to do with him, and it was more so just to be rude and mean and just hate him.
Yeah, and yeah, it was like, I won't lie though, I liked how much more involved the cat was in the original than in this one too.
I'd agree. Really would agree.
The cat was, and it was so different too. Like he tried to kill the cat after it attacked the young little boy.
Yeah.
That never happened in the original. And then the cat just plays nice, and he can't do it, so he drops it off, and then that leads to a whole train of effects, like where the daughter dies, and then he brings her back. And then the wife and the son, they come back, and she kills the neighbor, then she kills the mom. The boy gets gets away, but you know is in the car, and then the dad tries to kill everybody,
Mhm.
and it doesn't work out for him, and then he's brought back, and then like
In the end, yeah, they're just all together. And
all together in one undead, messed up
Messed up
family.
yeah.
Whereas in the old one, the cat's dead, the boy's dead, he's dead.
Yeah.
Like it never in the old one they didn't bring him back. So I'm kind of torn about that.
Mhm.
I'm a little bit torn about that. So it's just like, now what? Now you have like this undead woman who isn't doing anything. Like, is she gonna bring them back or not? Or whereas in the original one, So I mean, I still wasn't a fan of like how messed up it is. I'm gonna try to hold off on the swearing, but it was a really messed up ending where it's implied everyone dies, but it is brought back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, to me, definitely the original one, the younger boy, I mean, is far more creepy than the little girl, I feel like.
It is. Like, it was, once again, an emotional.
Yeah.
Like, they were trying to go for emotion there. And then, of course, the gotcha moment.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she still had her own little charm. I mean, she still did a good job.
Oh, yeah, she did a great job.
Actress there. I mean, it was definitely still really
especially
good,
the attack. It was like, holy crap.
But no, definitely the younger boy in the first one definitely had more of the creepy feel.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, it was totally creepy. I never felt ill at ease. Whereas literally, I would go 2 to 5 minutes again of being creeped out, and then something would happen, and then it's just like, okay, that happened. Now what?
Yeah.
And then it'd be another 2 to 5 minutes. It's just like, then something happens, and just like, all right, that happened. Now what?
Now what?
It was there was a lot of pacing issues with the new one. And it was very slow to get started. Like, it had all the stuff that was sort of that led up in the original. It was just slow, and then all of a sudden, like, after the cat died, everything happened really quick. Like, literally, after the cat died, everyone was dead in 48 hours.
Yeah.
Whereas in the original one, it took months. It was months. Like, that cat was alive for months before the kid died.
Yep. Yep, I definitely agree. So.
Though I did like the flashbacks they gave, like, to Judd and his dog in the original one.
Yeah,
they didn't really do much flashbacks
with the
in the new one.
Yeah.
And I think they could have. I mean, I can. That's another thing. Like, I'm torn about. Like, I can see, like, it could have worked either way. Yeah. I would have preferred there to be flashbacks just because I love the flashbacks in the originals.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think they were necessary. I don't think it subtracted anything from the movie.
No,
I mean, I think,
I agree.
And whether or not it would have added is totally subjective.
Mm-hmm. I could definitely.
I think they would have, but someone else might disagree.
Yeah.
And then the whole thought of someone was brought back in the original one, that was never touched upon there. I mean, I guess it was sort of implied that maybe Judd brought his wife back. But I mean, it was a very loose implication, and it might have been a reach. Yeah. So.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, that's everything in a nutshell, pretty much.
Pretty much.
I mean, I wish there was. I mean, I'm sure I could go on, but I mean, I'd be reiterating like so many things.
Yeah.
I did like the blood effects in the new one better than in the old one.
Oh yeah, like I said, I mean the effects. A lot of the effects and stuff in the new one. I mean, it felt like it literally is something that was actually could have been happening, and it just looks so real, and that its own sense right there would be a little bit more creepy in a feeling, because again, the original one kind of had the older effects where it just kind of seemed a little bit fake, or it looked like it could be something that's not really fully 100% there. You had that just mystical feel that something evil or just something is happening, and it just didn't feel like 100%. Like it could have been as real as what the new one was, but definitely both still good. I mean, for definitely what they were.
Yeah, I mean, again, you talk about creep factor, the whole thing in Judd's house, like in the original, whereas all over the place. Like in the Judd's house, like you never felt comfortable.
No.
Whereas in the new one, like in the old one, the baby's voice is just crying out like, "Let's play," and it's just an innocent baby voice in the middle of this. Like something's wrong, so it's just totally creepy.
Yeah.
Creepy as heck, especially when you see him. It's just like, oh my goodness.
He looks just so creepy. Just his very depressed looking, angry face look on his face. And
he really does. Though.
When you look at him at first in certain scenes, he just has this just grumpy, creepy feel.
But only after you've been staring, like when you've been looking, like when you first look at him.
He's happy and he's giggly and everything, and it's just he goes from back and forth from that. It's just creepy. Is for me is that you see him both ways there, but I mean you see that just upset look on his face kind of in a way, and it's just like, oh my gosh. For me, especially with me, if I was a mother and that was my child, that would be so devastating to see and so creepy to see. And then when he turns around and he's just all happy and giggly and just like, yes, where he's just like, come play with me kind of a way.
Yeah, whereas like, in the new one, like it's her and there's just silence. Like when she's in Judd's house, she's gonna kill him. There's just silence. And again, like I think it did. There was creepy points to it, but it relied on jump scares. Yeah, again, like you knew that something was going to happen.
Yeah, of course.
But you didn't have something like to creep you out. It was just literally like suspense, and then something happened.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, now what?
Yeah, pretty much.
And I just freaking still hate all those gotcha moments.
Indeed.
That's just me.
I agree.
And I will say I did like the emotional sanity of the new one. Like the father, like you got his motivation.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas in the original one, it's just like, you're really gonna do this again?
After what just happened, really?
Like just because you think it's because she just died? Like,
just because she just barely died, she's gonna come back different? Yeah, no, that's.
Yeah, so I mean, again, like I can say, like some of the changes, up in the air about.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I didn't think it was a bad movie.
Movie. No.
Look, if I looked at it from comparison, again, I'd still give it a 4.
Yeah.
But as a standalone movie, I'm going to put it higher than you. I'm going to put it at a 6. There are better movies out there. I think there are better movies out there that you could definitely see.
Yes.
It's fairly run of the mill. But I mean, it was entertaining. I love the cast, and I didn't feel like it was a waste of my money.
I don't think it was a waste of
my time. I just think there are better movies out there.
Exactly, which is the only reason why I can only give it a 5.
Indeed.
So.
All right. Well, that is all of our thoughts about this movie. So I hope you enjoyed, and we'll be back next time.
Yep.
Peace out, yo.
Indeed.